Hey y'all, what is up everybody? What is up YouTube? Sparky Mark here. I'm back to do a physical media review slash blue slash movie review, and this is going to be about, of course, what you're seeing here is obviously for the 1997 horror hit I Know What You Did Last Summer. And of course you're seeing here are three formats. I didn't, and let me be clear, I never got the VHS and I never rented it because my father wouldn't let me rent horror movies until I was old enough, and among other things. And this was my very first horror movie I saw all on my own while channel surfing. So yeah, I was 7, a month after my 7th birthday in May of 1997, and I was like entering second grade, or I believe I was entering second grade. This was like the last month of my first grade year, and I channel surfed HBO or Cinemax, finding out what was the next movie after that, and out comes this movie, and voila, lo and behold, this is what came on. And I saw it from beginning to end, and I saw it over the years on TNT, TBS, and and also a Spanish channel, Telemundo slash Cine de las Estrellas, and yeah, and I didn't even know that the screenwriter was the great Kevin Williamson, who wrote Scream, and it goosed up the genre. This came out a year after Scream, and this was during the era of Scream, of the teen horror slasher genre. And some of my homies and homegirls were like little to middle school to teenage year, and what else? And all some of us were starting school. Some of them were in high. Two of them were in middle and high school days. Back. So yeah, and this was my 17th birthday present I got from my aunt. The only thing it's included is the filmmaker's commentary. So yeah, and any guy in the 90s had the hots for Jennifer Love Hewitt, who was in the TV hit sitcom Party of Five. That was a huge deal with Nev Campbell, who of course got into Scream because of her audition, and Kevin Williamson. If anybody remembers it, of course it was loosely based on a book by an author by the name of Lois Duncan, which I read, and it's a huge difference between book canon to movie canon. So yeah, and the score was composed by the great Debney, if I said the name right here, who composed the song musics for Little Rascals and other projects over the years. And it's a pure fright machine, that's for sure. And of course, you have our characters, or four characters, in this terrifying story about a body that wouldn't stay dead. So after an accident that wound up the death of a guy, and then saying they made the fatal mistake of dumping the body into the ocean. But 1 year later, they start receiving a message. One of them receives a message with the word in capital, and suddenly, who was it? And they think it was some other guy, a young guy, but turns out it wasn't him. It was someone else, and who turned out to be. So yeah, we find this until the Okay, before I start mentioning more, those who haven't seen it, please turn off this video and watch the movie and come back to this video. Those who are interested, go watch it now. So yeah, sorry about that. So apparently 1 year later, the dead dude returns from the grave and he's looking more for an apology. Yeah, I wonder what he's looking for rather than apologize. Uh-oh. And of course, Williamson wrote the script. He wrote this before he did Scream, so yeah. Neil H. Moritz, if I said his name right, who would do the Fast and Furious franchise. Eric Feige also produced it, and along with another producer named Stokely Shiffman, and Irish director by the name of Jim Gillespie directed the film. So yeah, produced by Columbia Pictures and TriStar. It was mainly a Columbia Pictures release. So yeah, this was my birthday present that I got from my aunt, and also you can reverse which one you like to watch it, full screen or widescreen. I personally just leave it full screen. Oh yeah, a little booklet. Pause it and read it. I'm not going to discuss too much. And production began approximately 1 month before my birthday, my 6th birthday. And this came out on October 17 of 1997, about a month before my friend turned 8 that year. A friend of mine turned 8 that year, and 2 months before my other homies. One of them turned about 4 that year. The another one was about 2, and then another friend was turning 6 at the time. Another friend was 6, turning 7 actually. So yeah. And one of my homegirls was 19 at the time. And another friend was starting middle school back then. Here are the chapters. So yeah. And the villain, of course, he plays mind games with these 4 characters. And what is his big plan? What is his big fiasco leading to the 4th of July fiasco? And yeah, I did a blue review on this too. And this is the Sony from 2008, experiencing in high def. I'll show you a comparison video, but I'll just do it not by side by side. I don't know how to do it. I just put it in a photo or so, or just show it. But I can't put the volume up, folks, because copyright infringement. Here are the special features. And of course, there's the short film that the director did. And it's called Joyride. And it's classified as, this short film is classified as a Die Hard in a Trunk. And you have the commentary. And of course, for the short film, you can also listen to it in audio commentary with the director. The featurette, music video performed by Kula Shaker, and then you have a theatrical trailer. Yep, and here are the details. And it's an all-region release. Here's a disc. And here's the art. It's too bad we don't have our 4 characters. We only have these 2, the character of Max and Barry. I really don't like this BluRay case. I gotta change it. And also, what else? Anything else? So the quality is very decent, very alright. And of course, anybody got the Milk Creek edition? Word of advice: toss that away, or keep the BluRay case or so, because the quality I heard was dog crap, and the transfers were crappy. There's no special features in that release. Then there's a steelbook we got a couple years ago. Unfortunately, that's BluRay steelbook, and the artwork and the slip cover art is very cool. Very cool indeed. But the quality of the movie, BS. It's not that good. So yeah. Then we got the 4Ks that we got 3 years ago, celebrating the film's 25th anniversary. Very cool, huh? And of course, you can't forget one thing. It doesn't have a reversible, but they kept the artwork from the original theatrical poster. So yeah. So for the 4K UHD release, it's gonna have new special features that was from the film. What was that other company from the UK overseas that released that edition that had the first 2 movies that were great, but they had the one movie that was not well received among the fans of horror called I'll Always Know, what you did last summer, which is indeed a bullshit movie. It had nothing to do with the film. It's not canon. It's lightly canon, but it's not canon in general. And that was on the 101 film box set, 101 films box set that we got in 2020, and it has the special features that were poured over from that release and put it into here. You have the deleted scenes, which I hardly didn't know, but there were scenes from the trailer and promos that are not featured in this movie in general. All right, including the part where Max sees the fisherman and says a line, "Jeeper, Jesus, you scare the shit out of me." Which is, I'll leave you the link in the description box below. And of course, you have an interview with My Own Summer, interview with director Jim Gillespie, talking about how experienced it was doing films overseas and here in the US, locations, the characters, the villain, and every detail specific, how it's done. And it's done over through a computer and a screen because this was during the pandemic when the documentary was shot. So I'll just show you an example, but I'm not putting the volume up. And of course, you have this interview. He knows what you did. An interview with actor Muse Watson. I don't know how long is it. I'm going to take a guess about 10 or 12 minutes in length. Mr. Watson talks about his experience doing stage acting, and then an agent wanted to cast him in a few projects. Talked about a little bit working with the great Chris Christopherson, and then he got the call from his agent to work on this movie, which was I Know, and then meeting Sarah Michelle Gellar, and got along with the cast and crew very well. And certain scenes, when there was during the final act sequence, he talked about that he got a little injured on set, and Jennifer Love, well, Muse calls Jennifer Love. Love tells him that his left eye is bleeding, and he didn't notice it by the time everybody started noticing he was injured. Oh my god! And all in all, he got along with everyone great. And then that's on the 4K UHD release, and on the Blu-ray, it's poured over from this release as well. So you have new special features and old special features. And the special features, of course, it doesn't have the 5-minute and 5-second featurette that was from the what was that other documentary? It's only exclusive to the special edition set the double pack that was only exclusive to that one. So unfortunately, you're not gonna get the featurette that was there. I don't know what happened because of Sony rights or something. Or I think it was just television or interviews. Who knows? So yeah, big hit and it made a lot of money. Let's take a look at the disc, shall we? That is the 4K UHD Blu-ray, and look at that, folks. Same as the Blu-ray from 08. Magnificent, huh? So, oh boy. Left something outside. Exposed. So yeah. And tell me something, folks. And of course, I did mention that all the guys that some of their fellow YouTubers that talked about this movie mentioned that they had the hots for actress Jennifer Love Hewitt, which I think I mentioned it. At the time, she was big on television and Party of Five, and she was also in 2 feature films, one large budget and one low budget, starring the Roger Corman low budget movie called Little Miss Millions. James Avery is in that film, along with actor Howard Hessman from Police Academy 2, and of course James Avery from The Fresh Prince. They're in that film, and Jennifer Love. At the time, she was just credited as Love Hewitt. She was very young, early teens at the time, and became the teen idol, and she was in Kids Incorporated at the time, big, huge young actress at the time, and then worked on a Whoopi Goldberg film called Sister Act 2 that was directed by Bill Duke. And then also she would later be in House Arrest with some familiar faces, including Jamie Lee Curtis and Jennifer Tilly, Kevin Pollak, and Ray Walston is in that film. And then, of course, she was in the sitcom show with Neve Campbell called Party of Five. Big, huge show in Canada and USA. Wonderful show. And she was dating one of the stars in the show at the time. And and then she later did a film with Will Friedle from Boy Meets World, actor and voice actor Jason Marsden, not to be related to James Marsden. And also Anthony Michael Hall was in the film, and who else? Actor by the name of John Finn, who would later play authority characters in other shows and projects. And you guys, and Lee Majors is in that film. How are the odds? That was a big film back in the day. It was sadly didn't do well because it was released in only one theater. And of course, that came out in September, Trojan War, and this came out in October. And Jennifer Love Hewitt had a successful career. And with that, let's take a look at the editions. Obviously, we already know the quality of the DVD. Let's take a look at the Blu-ray and the 4K as well. Alrighty, here is the Blu-ray, but it's not playing the music, it's just playing a different score, or maybe it is the same score. All right, here is where you have the scene. You have scene selections, language, and special features. Let's get to the special features. You have the audio commentary with director Jim Gillespie, and also that is also from the DVD release, and it has the also has editor Steve Merkovich, who was the editor of Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Plus, he's the father of actor named Tim Merkovich, who played the young Jason in Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Alright. Also, you have the short film Joyride. Okay, Joyride, and then you have the Now I Know What You Did Last Summer featurette, and the music video. The featurette's about 20 something in seconds in length, 20 minutes something in length. Interview with the producer Neil H. Moritz and Stokely Sheffin and Eric Feige, and director Jim Gillespie, and writer Kevin Williamson, and actresses Jennifer Love Hewitt and Anne Hay. Another coincidence, Anne Hay would pass away in August of 2022, about a month or a few weeks before the 4K release was to hit physical media at that time. So yeah. Well, let's just take a look, shall we, on the features. Pause it very carefully and read it. Uh-oh. Thank God it's on low volume, so I'm going to pause it. Alright. So the feature is about 27 minutes and 05 seconds in length, with interviews from the producers, the director, and the writer, and the two stars of the film. And they discuss about how they got their involvement, and of course Jennifer Lewis talks about she made a promise to her grandmother not to die in horror films. So yeah, she fulfilled that promise. What are the odds? And then of course they suspected the Anne Hay character, the character of her character Missy Egan, to be the villain. Rarely, that has rarely been done before in horror films of the 80s and 90s. So yeah. And also you have chapter selections from the opening, then there's the urban legend, hit and run, dumping the body, never to tell, homecoming, and Barry gets Hit and Run, and then Research. And then you have Missy Egan, played by the wonderfully Anne Hay. Body in the Trunk, Parade, Up in the Balcony, the chase scenes, and then you got the parade. Then you got the final act, revealing of the villain, and then the end. So yeah. So, and also I'm just gonna like show a comparison quality between the two releases and tell me, what do you think how it is? So yeah, just for the record, the audio's turned off. So what do you guys think of this nighttime shot? All right, that's during the nighttime. Here is the daytime. And better yet, folks, just watch this type of movie at when the lights are turned off. It's much better than watching it with the lights on. So yeah, even the contrast and the picture quality at that time period were amazing. It's much better than the Mill Creek releases. Alrighty, on to the 4K. Alrighty, so, oh, hold on, folks. Alright, here is the menu. You got your setup, scenes, extra. Here you have his 5 minutes worth of deleted scenes. They didn't make it to the cut of the movie. My Own Summer, interview with director Jim Gillespie, and you have, okay, so for the deleted scenes, I'm just gonna okay, in total is 5 minutes and 6 seconds. One is with the discussion of their future with the characters of Barry and Ray. Stick Together. Fisherman at the Door, that was the confrontation with the character of Max. Barry at the hospital before Julie, Ray, and Helen show up. Fishing Truck, The Plan, and an original ending that was going to be the ending, but ultimately for test screenings or the producers didn't like it. Then you have My Own Summer, 29 minutes and 39 seconds in length, discussing, of course, the production of the film, talking about the villain, the sequences, shooting, and everything. Then you have the interview with Muse Watson called He Knows What You Did, which is about 14 minutes and 43 seconds in length, discussing the whole thing I just mentioned, about how he got the role and he got along with everyone great and during production, and he almost got injured at some point, but at the end he survived and he did it well. And went to a screening with his wife, and man, oh man, nobody knew that he was the villain, and he said behind some kids and talked about that they hopped up every time they see the villain or so, and his wife kind of laughed and enjoyed every moment of it. And since then became the favorite. I don't know the favorite, but he just got used to being a villain. Then you have the scenes. Okay, so I'm going to show you only some scenes in the film. The quality looks very decent, but not too perfect. Even my pal Mid-Level Media, I'll leave you a link in his channel. But what do you guys think in your book? Is the 4K worth it, or stick with the original Blu-ray? But of course the Blu-ray is in the 4K that comes with it. So yeah, the contrast, the colors in the background, yeah, they look kind of off. But all in all, folks, I think that the Blu-ray that comes in with the 4K is much better. So yeah. So yeah, folks. So the 4K is a bit slightly esqued, all right, but not great. Not perfect, but all right. But the Blu-ray is cooler too. All right, I can't even tell if it's the same transfer from the 2008 edition. So yeah, in my opinion, if you have the 4K, kudos for that. Stick it for the special features because you didn't even know what was going on during production of this project. So yeah. And tell me something, folks. When was the first time you saw this kind of horror movie? And for the guys, did any of you had a crush on either Jennifer Love Hewitt or Sarah Michelle Gellar, or any actresses in this movie? Let me know in the comments as well. And when was the first time you even saw the film? Did you rented it on VHS, DVD, or Blu-ray, or you bought either of them in those three formats? And does any of you still have any of those formats to this very day until upgrading to the 4K as well? Let me know in the comments section. And also, did anybody pick up that the double pack that comes with the sequel that has that particular special feature, the featurette, the different featurette, with the interviews with the 4 stars and Jim Gillespie. So yeah, and Kevin Williamson is interviewed as well. And what else? Were any of you terrified in scenes of the film? Let me know. So yeah, let me know that anybody's ever seen this film, because this is indeed a great thriller, and you have 4 likable characters that you don't like seeing getting hooked. Sequences of the film and the sets and such, very cool indeed. So yeah, tell me what you guys think. So before signing off, let's give a shout out to the thing of ours, TCF, to the physical media collectors, the watch collectors, the toy collectors, autograph collectors, and convention goers, and all you collectors out there. Shouts to you all, cats and dogs. Especially one more thing, shouts to my subscribers. You know who you all are. Shouts to you y'all. Shouts to you all as well. So yeah, I'm in the YouTube post. I'll have to post what time I post videos at a certain time, whether it be the early or the afternoon hours, or whichever hours of the day. Depends. Anything I'm not leaving out on. That's all for now, folks. And keep an eye on my YouTube post. I'll have to post whatever it is for either GoFundMe, Indiegogo, Kickstarter, for any products or such. Donations as well. It's not for me, folks. If I reach more followers and more subscribers, I will start Patreon, but it depends. I don't even know how those work. But I've been hearing about it. And what else? Just keep an eye on it, what time I often post. And also for the time which videos are going to be, is it going to be the afternoon or the early evening hours? So keep an eye on that as well, daily and weekly. Either early morning or the afternoon. Who knows? I'm just caught with life, and fate is putting me in different positions that I'd rather be or don't want to be. And plus, fate's got plans for me. I don't know where I'm destined to be at. Who knows? Wow. So, y'all, this is Marky Mark signing off. Y'all take care. God bless you. Hear you and see you on the next vid. Enjoy Monday, y'all, and later.